The biggest detriment at Marvel and DC right now are the creatives. The lack of good writing. The Z-list writers, the never will be's, writers that will never ever be able to sniff the jockstrap of Greg Pak. Because at least he had a fucking story. He might not be very good now, but at least he had a good story and could generate some enthusiasm for a time. Basically, it's just a giant shell game. They hire these writers in because the editors are incompetent. They don't know what talent looks like. And they put them on a book. It gets canceled because it sucks. And then they just keep moving them around and around. And eventually, you can't keep putting them on all the characters. And then you just move them over to the other publisher. And then they start moving them all around. And they continuously fail and fail and fail. And you end up with an enormous market of American comic books that just nobody wants to read sight unseen because of the creative talent involved. When you launch a book with Tini Howard on the title, it's guaranteed to be over. I think we just got confirmation that her Catwoman run is going to be ending very, very soon. About fucking time. Why did you put her on it in the first place? If you put Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing on a book, it's not going to make it to 12 issues. That is what they have proven in the marketplace. And they've been given big opportunities. These guys wrote Captain America and couldn't make it to a dozen issues. If you put Rainbow Rowell on a superhero comic book, there's no name recognition of Rainbow Rowell other than, oh yeah, didn't she do that shitty She-Hulk run that then they rebooted and let her keep doing? Oh, or didn't she do, what did she do? She do Champions? No, it was the Runaways that sucked really bad. You put Alyssa Wong on a book, it's guaranteed to be canceled almost immediately. I don't know how Dr. Aphra made it to here. It's because they refused to cancel it. It's been the lowest selling Star Wars book for over 3 years now. They just refuse to cancel it and admit the customer is always right. If you don't want to buy this person's wares, normally you would just move on with your life. Yet they continuously hire these morons and they continuously have to cancel shit early, time and time and time again. The new DC Comics September 2024 solicits lists Outsiders number 11 as the penultimate issue of the series. However, it's wrong. Lunar Distributors now list it as the last issue, saying it is the finale rather than the penultimate issue. The new Outsiders series by Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly brought Warren Ellis and John Cassaday's Planetary into the DC universe with a bunch of other Authority stuff as well before kicking the tires of the DC universe and upending it. But now it's ending 1 month early. I'm shocked that it made it to 11 issues. Why did they ever start it out? I don't think it's even in the top 200 at this point. I think it's been out of the top 200 since like the second or third issue. Not because Planetary sucks or not because there's not a lot of interest in Warren Ellis and John Cassaday's legendary Planetary series. There's no interest in Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing touching anything, even something as obscure as Planetary. If you were going to do a Planetary thing and you want to bring all that stuff and that lore and that idea into the DC Comics universe, Warren Ellis is still out there. Why not hire him to do it? He probably wouldn't do it because it is perfect the way it is. But there's no reason to do Planetary in the DC universe. But if you were going to do it, you had to hire the right person if you wanted it to be successful. I do think a Planetary type of reboot in the DC universe could at least do top 100, for 12 issues. It shouldn't be that difficult. But as soon as you put on Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly on the book, it's going to be canceled early. It's never going to make it. These dudes have gotten every opportunity in the world, and they failed every single time. Yet DC Comics, for some reason, and this is what I'm told, when they finally came over to DC Comics, it was considered a coup. That's how pathetic and lame DC Comics are right now, to where you can hire Marvel Comics has-beens, their leftovers, their never-will-be's, that failed every step of the road, and you feel like you accomplished something by launching another book that never should have been produced in the first place, just because of the creative talent involved. Nothing against them personally. I've heard that they're nice guys. If you go meet them at a con or maybe they're doing a signing, supposedly the fucking salt of the earth, nicest guys in the world, can't write a goddamn comic book. And at this point, in this industry, with this DC Comics 2024, you better have some talent. You better have some enthusiasm around the book. Otherwise, everything's getting ignored, especially at DC Comics. Think about what DC have right now. I wonder why all their stuff is tanking. They have a good Green Lantern book. They have a good Superman book. They have a pretty good secondary Green Lantern book. And that's about it. What else is there worth reading right now at DC Comics? That's one book a week, maybe, that makes you or compels you to go into your comic book shop and support the publisher in your comic book shop. That's not enough. You need to have 2, 3, 4 books a week that people want to pick up. Now, people have divergent tastes, so you need to have at least 8 good books coming out every single week. That means DC Comics need at least 32 good ongoing titles, or maybe even miniseries in there, just 32 good titles every single month that people are interested in buying and want to actually read. They're never going to be successful, and they will never achieve quality until they stop hiring morons like Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing. Why are they getting more opportunities when they failed every step of the way? Is Ryan Parrott not available? Is he not taking phone calls? That dude has actually proven himself on the independent market. There's an audience for Ryan Parrott. He can actually do superhero team-up books. That could be useful to DC Comics right now. Yet they refuse to go out there and actually investigate and hire people with real talent that maybe aren't big time yet, because they are out there. It's not just a DC problem. It's a Marvel problem. Writer Rainbow Rowell confirmed that Marvel's current run of Sensational She-Hulk will come to an end with the series' 10th issue. Sensational She-Hulk number 10 is set to be published on July 31st and will culminate the 2-year run that Rowell has had writing the character, which began with 2022 She-Hulk number 1. It is unclear at this point if and when the She-Hulk solo title could be relaunched, with Rowell indicating that the decision to end the series was made by editorial. Still, Rowell hinted in a follow-up post that the series will have an actual ending and one last mini-arc. Why did we get to Sensational She-Hulk number 10 to begin with? They put her on She-Hulk number 1. They got to launch it out. Marvel said, we've got a big name YA novelist, somebody that's got an audience. Well, guess who don't read DC Comics and Marvel Comics, superhero comics in general? 15-year-old girls who are reading DC and Marvel to begin with. Guys in their 30s and 40s. But they thought they could put Rainbow Rowell on Runaways and then She-Hulk, and then that didn't work. Well, let's just put her on She-Hulk again. Why? What was the point to reboot a series with the same exact creative? And they keep doing this shit over and over again. We got Tini Howard's Excalibur. We got Tini Howard's Captain Britain in the whatever Corps and Tini Howard's Knights of X or whatever. The exact same story arc, 3 different titles, same writer, failed every single time. They don't even move the pieces around in the show game. They just keep putting them on the same fucking book and wonder why this stuff is failing. Her style of writing does not resonate with people that are actually interested in superheroes, or certainly interested in reading She-Hulk on a monthly basis. And it's been proven twice now. What do you think they're going to do with her again? They're just now going to move her to a more obscure female hero and put her on there and be like, well, I don't know why it didn't work. Because she's not a comic book writer. It didn't work the first 3 times. Why would it work the 4th time? Yet, this is the cycle of what Marvel and DC do. And you know what comes after her 4th failure at Marvel Comics? We get her in a DC Friday anthology, and next thing you know, she's writing a new Batwoman series that then again fails. You're like, well, I don't know why she failed. Because she never succeeded in the first place. She was a never would be. I understand Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing have been working on comic books for a long time, but they've never actually released a successful comic book. They've never actually resonated with your fan base. Rainbow Rowell, not a comic book writer. And Marvel Comics know this, yet they continuously try to make this stuff happen and ruin her reputation in the process. She apparently was successful at other places, but she's never going to be successful here. And she'll just get tossed around and they're like, oh, we got a female writer. Yeah, but do you have a good female comic book writer? That's the big question. But at some point, the readers themselves do start taking this stuff personally. It's like, I've already told you, why do you keep putting this person with no talent, no feel for this universe, no feel for any of the characters or just storytelling in general within this medium? Why do you keep putting them on the characters that I like? And eventually, people are going to take it out of Rainbow Rowell, and it's not her fault. It's Marvel Comics' fault. It's DC Comics' fault. They're the ones that are tanking this by flooding the shelves with comic books written by Z-list talent. No talent. People that shouldn't even be getting water for good writers and comic books. These aren't even understudies. These are people that would have got a recommendation. Perhaps McDonald's is the vocation for you if you're in the 80s and 90s and you actually had to have talent and merit rule the day. Another example of this. DC announced Plastic Man No More, a new 4-issue DC Black Label series launching in September from the Eisner-nominated creative team of Christopher Cantwell and Alex Lenz. Cantwell says Plastic Man No More will grapple with Eel's past as a crook-turned hero and find the member of the Justice League coming to terms with a profound fear of aging and what death for a boneless, stretchable superperson even looks like. Oh my goodness, Christopher Cantwell is finally going to tackle the story we all wondered. What would happen to Plastic Man if he died? He's got no bones. He's stretchy. What an amazing fucking story to not tell. I like Plastic Man. Obviously, he's not my top 10 or whatever. I don't think he's in a lot of people's top 10. But Plastic Man's a cool character. There's something there. He's funny. There's a lot of different things you can do with the character. And yes, I understand they're going to be leaning in on body horror and all that stuff. And you can certainly do that with Plastic Man. But why are we treading through Christopher Cantwell again? We've already proven that he's not ready for prime time and never will be. He got the Iron Man gig. It sucked. He got the Captain America 60th or 80th anniversary series, Captain America, United States Captain America. Failed that thing. Everything this dude touches turns to shit. And of course, he failed over at Marvel Comics multiple times first, failed 4 times kind of big time. And now what's happening? We're going to move him over to DC Comics. What are these fucking editors all buddy? Like, listen, I got this buddy, Chris. He's just not getting over with the Marvel audience. We've tried him out for 5 years and we haven't had a serious success with him yet. Any way you can put him on a DC book? Well, yeah, we got room for him here. We love all of your leftovers. Like, what are you guys doing? It's fucking pure madness. This stuff doesn't need to happen. I'm all in favor of a Plastic Man miniseries. And yes, this is a miniseries. It's not going to be canceled because it's only 4 issues. But I'm all in favor of that. Plastic Man's a cool character. There's something to do there. But it deserves somebody better than Christopher Cantwell. The dude is a known failure. He's a known entity. He's a never will be in comic books. He got his one break in screenwriting with Halt and Catch Fire or whatever. I guess it was good for a season or 2. And then it dropped off. And the dude hasn't been able to tell a competent story since. He's kind of past his sell-by date. And you have to keep churning through that bottom-level talent, that new beginner talent, if you're ever going to discover any of the new talent that's going to rise up and be the next A-listers. If you're just churning through the same people for 5 years over and over again, you're never going to develop that next superstar. And Marvel and DC need superstars. There literally are none left. We have Scott Snyder returning to DC soon. Maybe he's a superstar. We do have Jonathan Hickman at Marvel, probably a superstar. Outside of that, where is the superstar at Marvel or DC Comics? I don't think they have any. Maybe Josh Williamson, but I don't even want to call him a superstar because he's not talented enough. They don't have a system for developing talent. They don't have a system for identifying talent. And apparently they don't have a system for telling people, sorry, best luck on your future endeavors, but you are not working out here. Our fans don't like you. Nothing that you have written has worked out. And they just keep churning through these Z-listers, these never will be's. This is the reason that, we're still on fucking Collin Kelly, Jackson Lanzing, and Tini Howard, and Rainbow Rowell, and Christopher fucking Cantwell, and all these shitty writers that we know have sucked for at least 4 years now. Where's fucking Kyle Higgins? Where's Ryan Parrott? Why is Tom Waltz not getting an ongoing gig at Marvel or DC? There are really good writers out there. Where's fucking Tony Fleeks? There are some awesome indie writers out there waiting for their big break, but we got to make sure that we didn't miss something in Christopher Cantwell first, or Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing, or Rainbow Rowell, or fucking Clunrad, or all these enormous failures. I just don't get it. It's so frustrating because it should be better. There's enough talent out there for Marvel and DC to seize the day and actually deliver good comic books. But these ain't it. And as long as they keep turning to them, it's never going to get better. If you are a big old comic book nerd like myself and you want longer conversations, we have lots of podcasts available over on the Patreon. They're all like 2.5 hours, something like that. If you haven't checked that out right now, we do have a free membership thing. You can get a free membership for a week on all 3 of the tiers, whichever one that you would like to go check out, and see if you would like to consider supporting Taking Critical YouTube on Patreon. There's a link in the video description. I hope to see you there soon.